There's a power within you. It lifts your life to its highest level. It brings success, companionship, happiness, health, and peace of mind. As you tap into this power, it will respond to you because this power is within you. And that's why spirituality rocks. Welcome to another fantastic episode. I'm your host, Dr. Janine Burns, and I teach practical spirituality according to the New Thought tradition. Each week on Spirituality Rock, I bring you nationally known inspirational speakers, teachers, and authors. Our intention is to empower you to awaken to your divine nature, expand your consciousness, and teach you skills for life mastery. And to that end, this week I have some fantastic guests. Joining us a little later in the show will be Martha Creek, who does the work. She's a spiritual coach and inspirational teacher, as well as Reverend Barbara Gold Branson. She is the author of Live Your Joy, How to Attract Your Soulmate, and the ebook, Angel Talk. And joining us via phone will be Pastor Paul Gretz. He's from the First MCC Church in Atlanta, Georgia. But before we go any further, I would like you to know that our website went live. We are at spiritualityrockstv.com. We're also on Facebook. I would like you to let me know if there's anybody you'd like us to feature on the show. We are happy to do that. All right, so let's just jump right in because we have an action-packed show for you today. So, Reverend Paul Gretz is joining us via phone from Atlanta, Georgia. He's a colleague of mine with the affiliated New Thought Network. Welcome to Spirituality Rocks, Reverend Paul.
Great to be with you. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm fantastic and just delighted. I love your voice. Delighted to have you on the show. So
it's great to be with you. Always love your energy, and I love your show. Love the name, Spirituality Rocks.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So I'd like to know, what spiritual truth or idea have you been focusing on lately or teaching? What is some spiritual nugget that you could bring to the viewing audience, please?
Well, this year with our congregation, really we're focusing on 2015 being the year of spiritual practice.
Okay.
Really, we've been going through a journey of learning and a great enlightenment. Now it's time to put everything into practice. So this month has been a strong focus on what spiritual attributes have you been learning about that you're really now ready to put 100% energy, thought, and consciousness into and putting them into practice. So we're seeing some great commitments and, shall we say, steps out in faith, because we started with these letters to God where people were writing out, these are things I'm claiming for this year, and these are things I'm putting into practice. Now we had everybody seal them in an envelope. At the end of the year, we're mailing them to them so they can look back and see, wow, these are things I already claimed, I believed for. Look at how they unfolded for me. Look at how practice made a difference.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that idea. So they sort of write a letter to God, or is that how it's described?
Yes, and actually we kind of give them a little bit of form, get them started,
okay,
and kind of fill in, these are things I'm claiming, dear God, so to speak, I'm really affirming these things are going to unfold in my life as I put them in full attention and as I put practice behind them.
Okay, so that
and
would you...
After they've completed that, they fold it up, put it in an envelope, self-address it, we collect them, and we put them in the church safe. At the end of the year, they'll be mailed out to everyone.
I love that idea, and that's a great idea for all of us to write a letter to God, the universe, whatever you choose to call the amazing presence and power that, expresses through all of life everywhere. And to write a letter of what you're claiming or what you choose to experience, fantastic idea. Now, Johnny Coleman always would say it works if you work it. So spiritual principle works if you work it. What are one of the ways that you suggest that people work spiritual principle?
Well, certainly at our congregation, we're really working out that which we believe we're working on demonstrating. And this year, this month, this year, we're focusing on demonstrating your faith. Practice your faith. Show us what you got when you say, this is what I believe. Okay, let's demonstrate it. And in areas of generosity, people are making great pledges to saying, this is what I'm going to be doing this year financially. We're really stepping out and saying, this is the way I'm going to demonstrate that I believe in a God of abundance. Every Sunday in our congregation, we say at the offering time, I'm in relationship and I believe in a God of abundance. And we really speak this truth. Okay, so that's what you say. Let's really put it into action. So people are really stepping out and really upping their game, shall we say, in the spirit of generosity. We're seeing some great things happen for us.
Fantastic, fantastic. And what is something personal, a spiritual practice that you personally are stepping up, putting more energy, more attention to?
Mine is meditation.
Okay.
I have always been an early morning person, but now I'm even more committed. I've added an extra hour of my time just to really be beginning the day in a quality, uninterrupted meditation time. It's been great in the past. I'm taking it to another level. I'm really putting this into practice, and I am loving it.
That's awesome. Yeah. You know, not everybody understands meditation. You know, some people think you have to twist yourself up into a pretzel, but it's really about allowing the thoughts that are in your mind to just float away like a leaf floats down on a river. And I'm sure you've found this, as I found, with the more I'm willing to be still, the more divine ideas I receive and the more I'm guided. I get like this, I keep getting a repetitive thought, or I get a gut feeling to follow something.
Definitely, and that's why even at meditation, I have a pen and paper with me. Sometimes I'm just so inspired in those moments. It's almost like they're engaging in a spiritual writing because things come to me so clearly, and I want to make sure I capture each and every one of them because of those moments of being clear of thought, to be able to just be receptive and to receive.
Awesome, awesome. Now, shifting gears a little bit, you and I both will be cruising in consciousness, because April 16th to the 20th, we're both going down to Fort Lauderdale. We're going on the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, and we are cruising to Cozumel for a spiritual cruise.
Love it, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm excited because I'm leaving Saturday on a cruise with our congregation. Oh. So this is going to be the second cruise of this year for me, but I love setting aside those early sunrise moments to be in meditation on a cruise ship, whether it be on your private balcony or out in a private space. It's just amazing to be out there on the waters. It's a great time.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, and we're going to have a great time. Our keynote speaker is Reverend Sheila McKeithen, who is the new president of the Universal Foundation for Better Living. So that's going to be fantastic. And we're going to have lots of time for play. There's going to be some workshops. So I'll be seeing you poolside, Reverend. That
sounds great.
Awesome. Well, if you want to check out more of Reverend Paul Gretz, you can see him on Facebook, Paul Gretz, Gretz, or go to firstmcc.com. That's www.firstmcc.com. And so thank you so much for joining us on Spirituality Rocks.
Thank you. It's been great to be with you.
Good. Well, I'd like to shoot to a really quick, as brief as possible, commercial break, because joining us next on Skype is the amazing Barbara Gold-Branson. We'll be right back. Don't go far.
Stretching under sedation, or manipulation under anesthesia, is a very gentle, very precise procedure to very slowly release any scar tissue that is formed as a result of a traumatic injury. Many people ask, how does this work? Will I get hurt? Will you stretch me too far? We only stretch the body part to its normal range of motion. After completing the post-MUA rehabilitation program, it's very common that our patients say to us, hey, I can play ball with my kid again. Hey, I can bowl again. Hey, I can enjoy hiking again. This is what makes it rewarding to us as practitioners.
We're going to do a live commercial. Hi, I'm Renee Marie. I'm the president of Language of Love Incorporated Foundation. I'm really happy to tell you that we're going to be doing a Language of Love telethon on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Please look for the location on my website, reneemarielanguageoflove.org. And once again, it's reneemarielanguageoflove.org. And the show will be hosted on the Madhouse TV. It really is important for you to be aware of strokes and aphasia. Strokes is the third leading cause of death in America and the first leading cause of disability. And it really is something that plays no favoritism. And it also really comes when you're not expecting. Nobody expects to have a stroke, and nobody expects to suffer from aphasia, and it really does play make a huge impact in your life and change your life in one split second. So we look forward to having everyone join us once again on March 29th, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And you could follow us on ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. Once again, it's ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And we look forward to seeing you. God bless.
Stop the truck! Stop the truck! Thank you.
Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. Pleasure to have you this week. And our next guest is Barbara Gold-Branson. Barbara Gold-Branson, I apologize, is a prolific author. She has written this fantastic book. It's called How to Attract Your Soulmate, The Secrets of Lasting Love. She also wrote a book called Live Your Joy. And she has a book called Angel Talk, which is an ebook. So welcome. She's joining us from Indiana via Skype. Welcome to Spirituality Rocks, Barbara Gold-Branson.
Thank you, Janine. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight.
It's just a delight to be with you. Now, if you were to check out Barbara Gold-Branson, besides checking her out on Facebook, you would check her out at liveyourjoy.org, liveyourjoy.org. And I really highly encourage you to sign up for her newsletter. It's so impactful in such a very brief amount of words. That's one thing that really always inspires and excites me. The last one you just wrote, Barbara, is called Take the Passion Plunge. And talk about taking the passion plunge.
Well, we're talking about here, Janine, this time of year, everybody's making New Year's resolutions. And what I would like to suggest to people is that we make a resolution to follow our passion and to do what enlivens us and to not be fearful of it. And a friend of mine said this very wise thing. He said, we're standing on the dock in fear when our passion is in the water. So I'm suggesting we take the plunge and we follow our passion and we give our gifts to the world and we live with joy, because when we live devoid of passion, we will not live in joy.
Well, you talk a little bit in the article, and again, if people sign up, for the email, you write them once a month, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is perfect, palatable. All the stuff that comes across my desk, it's palatable, and I can really absorb it. And you talk about desire, and from the Greek root, desire means of the Father, and you talk about desire rising in you. Tell us more about desire.
Wait, and I love that you say desire means of the Father, because when you have a desire, that is spirit within you, tugging at your heartstrings, wanting to express through you. So that desire is spirit in you, wanting to express through you. So that's an urge, that's a divine urge that we don't want to ignore when we feel that desire well up. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, says that what you seek is seeking you. That desire is meant to be fulfilled. If you don't fulfill it, you will live a life that's dull and devoid of joy.
Exactly. And so you also talk about fear. And fear paralyzes us so often. Yeah, fear paralyzes us so often. And talk about how fear paralyzes us.
Fear does paralyze us. We're afraid. We're afraid to take that step to follow our passion. We're afraid we won't have the money. We're not talented enough. We're not worthy enough. We have all these excuses, and this fear paralyzes us. And I'm suggesting we surrender that fear. And maybe we could affirm something like, Spirit within me knows how. Because when you let go and release the fear, you will find that step by step your path is revealed to you. Take one step at a time and trust in the universe. Trust in Spirit. The Spirit that planted that desire in you has everything in it to fulfill that desire. Is it Charles Fillmore? I think Charles Fillmore said, what you conceive, you achieve. That's an old expression, a new thought. If you can conceive it, you have everything you need within you to achieve it. So just let go. Once you let go of it and say, Spirit knows how, you'll attract the finances, you attract the people, you attract whatever it is you need for your passion to come alive.
You know, I like the idea where you just said do one thing and take a step in that direction, because I think so many times it's so easy to get overwhelmed, especially if we have a big dream. Like if we know how we're going to create our dream, we know all the steps, it's probably not a big enough dream. But if we have a huge dream and we just step in that direction, we'll know, we'll be guided, we'll see signs along the way, there's circumstances, coincidences, etc., that will really make a difference for us. So talk to us about that idea of taking bite size.
Just take one step at a time. Spirit will reveal to you, call this person, see this person, or whatever it is you need to do. Spirit will reveal to you. Don't look at the whole big picture. Just look at it. Surrender to God. Spirit knows how, and one step at a time, you will draw to you everything that you need. You don't have to know how. All you have to do is set the intention with passion and desire in your heart, and Spirit will show you the way. But you have to have faith and believe and trust in the universe to manifest what it is you desire. When I first wrote my first book, I didn't know how, but every step was revealed to me. The graphic designer, how to put a book in motion, the team, one by one, it was all given to me. And it will be given to you too, whatever your dream is. It's meant to be fulfilled. It's divinely meant to be fulfilled. You're not doing it justice if you walk away from that desire.
And we teach in New Thought that the universe gives us ideas. And so that is what you're referring to when you said you were guided along every step, having the, the printer and the illustrator, etc.
Right. So we need to jump off that dock that we're standing back, and we need to take the plunge. Just take the plunge, have faith, and you will live a life filled with joy, filled with passion, filled with everything good. But we have to take the first step, and Spirit will show you the way every single step.
And you know what in your article you wrote, don't control the outcome. So many times I think we get controlling, like it should, has to, it ought, it must be a certain way. And we lose our flexibility, and then there's fear and there's hesitancy, and we draw back.
Right. Give it over to God, surrender it, give it space to unfold. If you control it, you're not allowing God to do God's beautiful work by means of you. You must have the faith and let it unfold. It might unfold in a better way than what you had thought.
Right.
So allow it to unfold.
Right. And also, what I think is neat is this idea of having a personal relationship with God. To be able to talk to God as if God were a best friend. To be able to talk and say, lead me, guide me, direct me, or just any kind of conversation.
And I always say before I sit down to work, God within me does the work. Because I do nothing of myself. So every time I sit down to write, to pray, to coach somebody, I affirm God within me does the work. Because I do nothing of myself. My human means can't do it. But spiritually, my connection, I never walk alone. Nobody ever walks alone. God is your business partner. God is your partner in life. God is your eternal friend.
Awesome. I love that, how you describe that. So I want to talk a little bit about your work as a spiritual coach. I have used your services as a spiritual coach, and I think you're fantastic. I find that you're very focused, that you come up with a real concrete, solid plan, and that you're very supportive in setting obtainable, measurable goals and meeting them in increments. And that's what I really love about you. You have like a bullseye view and are able to do that.
Well, thank you. Even before I coach, I say it's God within me, so I believe that that's divinely guided. And what I do is give people the spiritual tools that they could use in their daily life that's very, very easy to implement. And then they walk away with those tools that, yes, they can implement them in their spiritual life.
Yeah, and in your book, Live Your Joy, are a lot of basic spiritual tools. If people want to know basic spiritual principle, they can look up that book, Live Your Joy, by Reverend Barbara Gulbranson. And you can check that out. The book's available at Amazon. It's also available at liveyourjoy.org. You also wrote the book, it's an ebook called Angel Talk. And it's really, I love that book because you talk about the archangels and the angels. You describe what is attributed to them, and then you write a prayer about each one. Mm-hmm. Give us an example of one or two of the angels that you write about in that book.
Well, one of them, I would say, is Archangel Raphael, who you would call on for physical healing.
Okay.
If you or somebody you know needs physical healing, you could call on Archangel Raphael. And also, if you are setting up a healing practice of your own, he will assist with that. And I love Archangel Shamuel. With Valentine's Day coming up, that's the Archangel of soulmates, and he will unite you with your soulmate. I've had instances of people coming to me for assistance with soulmates, and I have advised them to pray to Shamuel, and they ended up happily married. My niece is one example. Within 2 months of asking Archangel Shamuel for assistance, she was engaged, and now she's happily married. She was living in New York City, you know how that is with dating and all. So we just give that over to Archangel Shamuel, and he will unite you with love. So that's a good thing to keep in mind as Valentine's Day approaches, and some people who don't have partners get a little down and depressed.
Yeah, that's a great story too, by the way. So before we sign off, I'd like you to tell us either some spiritual food, some kind of nugget that you'd like to tell people to inspire them, or maybe something that you've been focusing upon in your spiritual work, please.
Well, in my spiritual work, I've been focusing on living my passion as well, because I feel some shifts going on, and I would like to do more coaching, and I'd like to do more grief counseling with people as they walk through these changes in their life. And I think that what I would say the main thing is prayer and meditation. We cannot do it by human means. We must be connected with prayer and meditation. Live Your Joy describes the type of prayer that we do in New Thought, the affirmative prayer. Even if it's a quick affirmation, like I said before, Spirit within me does the work. Spirit shows me the way. It could be a quick affirmation, but you also need to take time in silence, because you need that connection with God on a daily basis. So my guidance is always prayer and meditation. Make that part of your daily spiritual activity.
Awesome. Well, I just want to thank you so much. Looking forward to having you back in February, where we're going to focus on how to attract your soulmate, the secrets of lasting love, and talk all about love. In the meantime, thank you so much. Check out liveyourjoy.org, liveyourjoy.org, and you can see on that Reverend Barbara Gulbranson. Thank you so much for joining us on Spirituality Rocks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that was pretty exciting, wasn't it? We'll hear more from Reverend Barbara in February. Do check out her books, the Angel Talk ebook, and How to Attract Your Soulmate, The Secrets of Lasting Love, and Live Your Joy. And you can also go to her website, liveyourjoy.org. Now, another brief commercial break. Don't you like these brief commercials? And we'll be right back with Martha Creek on Spirituality Rocks.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. I'm your host, Dr. Janine Burns. I teach practical spirituality. Please check out our website at www.spiritualityrocks.tv.com, where you can see past episodes. And also we're on Facebook. If you know anybody you'd like to have us on the show, please just shoot us an email or let us know. Also, if you have any spiritual posts you'd like to post, please feel free to post us on Spirituality Rocks. We have both a page and a group where we can focus on your information. And now I am bringing to the show someone who I only met just not that long ago. Martha Creek. Martha Creek is an inspiration. You'll see when she comes on screen that just her smile lights up the whole room. She is a fantastic spiritual coach. She is a facilitator of Byron Katie's work, which is called The Work. She's an inspirational teacher. She gives workshops, classes, and inspirational talk. Welcome to the show, Martha Creek.
Thank you very much, and may I live up to what you think about me.
Well, one thing I know is you are an absolute hoot. We were at a conference last year in Atlanta, Georgia, and we had talent night. And I just had this idea that you were this sweet, really quiet lady, and you got up and you had a comedy routine where I could hardly hear because I was laughing so loud.
That's my favorite part, actually. It's like I ought to do it twice so people can actually hear it the second time.
I agree. Think about that next time. Second time.
Yeah, the comedy I found very healing over the years, which is one of my approaches as a workshop presenter and speaker. And the humor that comes through me, evidently naturally, or just from my own application of spiritual teachings that says if we are serious, then we're anxious. And so seriousness is a sign of anxiety.
Right.
So it's a good sign in me when I have lightened up a little bit and I'm less serious. So it's wonderful to hear the feedback, of course.
Awesome, awesome. So how did you even ever get involved in teaching practical spirituality, New Thought principles?
I believe I've been doing it at some level my entire life, Janine. I, at 3 years old, just determined and declared out loud that I'm a minister,
Wow.
which sounded like a comedy routine to my family because they had never heard of such a thing. They'd never seen or heard of a woman minister. But I had some awareness of being in spirit, and that here, this world, the physical world, is an outpicturing of something greater. And I read the Bible, for example. My family didn't go to church, and I called the neighbors and asked them, could I go to church with them? In a search to better understand this, I had an intuition or some kind of DNA about. So I've been doing it at some level, off and on, for the most of my life. And in high school, for example, we had a fire drill one day, and it was algebra class, 5th period. And the 6th period class was basketball, which was what I lived for. I'm passionate about sports. And I said, oh, let's just go on and get dressed. By the time they call us back into the room, we're going to be on the floor. We'll be playing, and it'll be over anyway. And I miscalculated, so we had to go back to algebra. We weren't in the room. We weren't accounted for. And the principal came over the intercom for the entire school and said, will Martha Creek and her little congregation please come to the office? So I've been ringleading this in various ways throughout most of my life. And I officially started doing it as a profession when I turned 40, which was in 2000. And that was my plan as a kid. I said, when I turn 40, I'm going to retire, resign the corporate scene, whatever I've been doing professionally stops at age 40, and I go out and finish a formal ordination process and start serving ministers and ministries and serving in the name of organizations and congregations, and did it.
And you started with Unity, is that correct?
Actually started in religious science in Nashville, Tennessee.
Which they're both New Thought organizations. New Thought is the umbrella denomination. And so sometimes people hear religious science, and I'm not sure what they think, but religious science basically is a New Thought teaching that teaches the power of God within, and that your thoughts create your life experience. In a nutshell, that's what it teaches. Somebody said something about you that I just think is so fantastic. It says, Martha is a force of nature that will not be denied. She lives life to the fullest and carries along anyone brave enough to join her. To meet Martha is to have Martha as a part of you forever. Holy kajungus, talk about living up to something. Martha, that's powerful. And tell us more about this force of nature.
Well, it sounds like it was somebody in a workshop. So it sounds like I remember this quote, seeing it over the years, Janine, and it came from somebody that did a weekend intensive that I call the Journey Within, that really is for the courageous. And it is a walk through the chakra system and looking at our purpose of life and how we relate, and our solar plexus, what we're holding there in the way of personal power, up into the heart, the love, the living from the love of the heart, forgiving and clearing and dropping shame and guilt in that, and then into the throat and right speech and right listening. So there's a lot of intensive work that I've done, and I attract people who have what I call already kissed several toads. So they've already been around the block. They've read a lot of books, dedicated seekers, did the workshops, checked it off their list, and there's still there's something holding them or blocking them. There's something they're blind to that they apparently are able to cut right into and finish off through some of this work that I facilitate and present. And that's what I mean. And then she, obviously, this lady that said that, it really does require somebody willing and courageous to look in those very, very scary places.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. And that's what's so nice about having someone supporting you in the process. We both had a similar beginning, which I think is kind of exciting. We both had books basically fall into our hands. Actually, yours literally fell into your hand, and mine was in the back of a bookstore. But it was the book Loving What Is by Byron Katie. This happened back in 2002, that just literally fell into your hands, and you began teaching what is called the work. You call it a special delivery to your soul. Why do you call it that?
Well, because it cuts right in there. It's like there's nothing that it can't get through or around, any belief system, any construct, any mental construct, any BS, which is what I mean by belief system,
right?
Any worldview, any perspective, regardless of when it originated, how long we've had it, where it started in our families. The work and inquiry, the work is the name of inquiry, which we've been taught since recorded history to use inquiry. Know thyself. Know thyself.
So the work... The work is about...
That's what I mean by the work is the way to it. And Eckhart Tolle, actually, that's his quote about the work. He says it's like a razor-sharp sword that'll cut right through the illusion into this. So it's like you have the key, now use it. And that's what the special delivery means to me.
Okay, so then the work then, tell us more about the work. Apparently from what you just said, it has to do with inquiry, asking yourself questions or asking other people questions?
It's both. As a facilitator, I would guide people through the questions, facilitating them through the questions. But the work is set up to be independent, autonomous. You can absolutely do it by yourself. It's free. It's at thework.com, and it's called The Work for a reason. So that's why it's not for everybody, because when you brush up against some of these deeply held beliefs and some of these precious perspectives we hold about who we are and what we're here to do and right and wrong, when that starts getting dismantled and coming down, it can be very, very scary, frightening, even disorienting at times to some. So it means to take any thought that you want to question, and based relative to new thought and unity, religious science, and those modalities of thought, says that all thought is cause. So everything, our experience, originates from thought. So the thoughts that we're holding are creating their experience we're in. So feelings are effects of the thinking. And a lot of people talk feelings, and they're in therapy over feelings and things like that. It's not to discount the feelings. The feelings are like our friends, but it's the doorway. The feelings are the doorway into the thought. So what thought caused this sadness? What thought caused the despair? So it cuts right in there to see what's the cause of this. So what thought upset me? And it could be anything from, she should have called me back. Traffic should flow. I need him in my life. I'm better off with that job. And you take any thought, whatever's causing you stress, write it down, because the mind is wily enough. If you don't write it down, it'll forget what you were questioning, because it doesn't want to go there, so to speak. And then you ask for very simple, basic, but deeply profound questions that are, is it true? Is it true? Number 2, can I absolutely know this thought to be true? Like, what's reality? Number 3 is, how do I react? What's the consequences? What's the impact on me if I believe it to be true? So what's happening inside of me? How do I react when I'm believing the thought? And 4, who would I be without the thought? So, for example, if we were questioning somebody should be kind to you.
Okay.
Is the reality that they're kind? Is it true that they should be kind? and it's yes or no.
Okay.
And can you absolutely know that they should be kind?
No.
And that's freedom in that.
Okay.
While the mind is telling you, the thought is saying they should be kind, and it's
Right.
got all the proof
Right.
for what they should be kind. But reality says no, that's not true. So how do you react when you believe the thought they should be kind and they're not? How do you react?
You get aggravated, you get frustrated, you get annoyed.
Yes. And then how do you treat them?
Right, and then you begin to treat them disrespectfully and rudely.
Unkindly.
Unkindly, right.
So
Right.
we do to them the very thing we're judging them for doing to us.
Oh, I hear ya.
So when I believe the thought and act on it that you're unkind,
Right.
then I treat you in kind. I
Right.
treat you just like that. While I'm claiming in the name of spirituality that I want there to be a kind world. People should be kind. That's my mantra. I'm parading around with a flag on how people should be kind while I'm treating you unkindly if I follow that judgment.
Right.
And then question 4 is, who would you be while they're doing what they're doing? So they may not change. They're doing exactly what they do. Who would you be if you weren't believing the thought they should be kind?
You'd probably likely be naturally kind.
Yes. Then you get a sense of it in your body so that you see that regardless of what they're doing, I don't have to. I don't have
Wow.
to lose my convictions just because they've lost theirs.
Wow. Holy Kajungas.
Yes.
Wow. So that really sort of pulls you out of judgments and criticisms and condemnations to use this thing called the work.
100%.
Wow. I hear that after that example that you just gave. But we so easily judge. We so easily try to control circumstances.
Absolutely. And it's and we believe actually that we can. So that's our own delusion, our own insanity.
It is a delusion. We do believe that we can when we really can't.
Say it again.
Yeah.
May all the world hear this. We do not control what we do not control.
Right.
And other people's behaviors, attitudes, opinions, and those things are theirs. And if I become as reactive to them as they are every time I don't get what I want, or if I'm putting my philosophy of life or my righteous indignation, judgments over on them, I'm doing the same thing or worse as what I'm judging them for.
Right. Wow.
In the name of spirituality.
In the name of spirituality. So then, this is really something that you could use every day, all day.
Every day, all day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Like,
every thought you have, even traffic should flow. What's the reality of it? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah.
wow.
And then the last piece of the work, Janine, is, so we go through all 4 of the questions, which you did beautifully, and you see the power of that in just questioning one thought.
Sure.
You felt that shift from just questioning one little concept, one little thought. And then the last piece of it is to turn it around.
Okay.
So if I think they should be kind, the turnaround is I should be kind.
Right.
That's my philosophy. So if I'm expecting them to do it and dumping that expectation on them, it's like, let me live it out.
Right.
Let me be the first to be kind, especially when they're not, and then talk to them about kindness.
Wow.
Let me practice what I preach.
I can also see, though, how this would be a difficult process to answer those questions, because I can see how you'd have resistance, or you kind of want to hold on and just be right and kind of even be controlling about the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's for people that have peace as a higher priority than being right.
And I can see how it really will bring you a greater peace of mind with that very simple example that you just gave. Fantastic. Well, it's time for a commercial break, but when we come back, what I'd like to do is talk about how Martha Creek is a spiritual coach and how she can support you in the process doing the work, as well as experiencing and creating and manifest your dreams and goals. So stay tuned, another brief commercial break with more of Spirituality Rocks.
we're going to do a live commercial. Hi, I'm Renee Marie. I'm the president of Language of Love Incorporated Foundation. I'm really happy to tell you that we're going to be doing a Language of Love telethon on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Please look for the location on my website, ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And once again, it's ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And the show will be hosted on the Madhouse TV. It really is important for you to be aware of strokes and aphasia. Strokes is the third leading cause of death in America and the first leading cause of disability. And it really is something that plays no favoritism. And it also really comes when you're not expecting. Nobody expects to have a stroke, and nobody expects to suffer from aphasia. And it really does make a huge impact in your life and change your life in one split second. So we look forward to having everyone join us once again on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And you could follow us on ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. Once again, it's ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And we look forward to seeing you. God bless.
Hi there, welcome back again to SpiritualityRocksTV.com. I'd like to do a shout out and a thank you to my producers, Janine Zarelli and Tommy Marr, for making this show seamless and effortless each week. And what I'd also like to do is invite you to check out Spirituality Rocks on Facebook and our website at SpiritualityRocksTV.com. I also invite you to check out MarthaCreek.com. Martha has joined us from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And is that where you live, Martha?
No, just in the winter, I'm down here in this area. But technically, I live in Kentucky, but I've not been there since middle December, and I won't be back until May.
Why? Is it cold in Kentucky? Are you one of those snowbirds?
It is like that, and I serve down here. And I travel 90% of the time, so I'm out in a different organization every week, somewhere different every week.
Well, I went to MarthaCreek.com, and I saw your schedule reads like a who's who. I mean, you're everywhere. I saw all over Florida, Melbourne, and Fort Lauderdale. So that's fantastic. Now, we just had a really tall, short, little bit experience of the work. And it's fascinating because the work really draws you out of judgments and really creates a place of peace for you. And in looking at your website, I saw that from doing the work, it gave you such freedom, and you went through some really difficult things. You were the primary caregiver for your dad when he had cancer and suffering through that process, and then he, of course, passed on. And then 2 months later, you had a car accident that resulted in the death of your sister-in-law, and your brother was disabled. And then a year later, you had the sudden death of your same brother from a heart attack. And you were the primary caregiver of your grandma, and she had an attempted suicide and mental illness, which that is incredible to manage. And then a sudden death of a 42-year-old friend and co-mister and colleague. And then you went through breast cancer and breast cancer reconstruction, and you claim that you went through all this with peace and ease, let us say, because of the work.
And I can tell you that peace came and went, but I didn't go far from it.
Okay.
The work, I'm grounded in the work. I'm practicing the work. I've been at it for years. And it's not that I still don't have stressful thoughts or stress in my life. I just don't dwell in it very long. So I'm very quick to write down what I'm thinking and go right back to the work to get myself back to reality. And reality is much kinder than thoughts is.
Oh.
Reality is where their peace is possible, when I can stay an objective observer and serve where I am and be present to what's in front of me instead of making up a story and an illusion about how things ought to be going or how things should be, or, oh, woe is me, or ain't this awful, or ain't I pitiful in this. And the allure and the temptation of the mind to go off into that is great. So I'm not immune from this. I still wander off and take my side trips and all that. I just don't go very far. I'm quick to come home and I'm quick to come back. to peace, because peace is a priority for me. It's the most important thing in the world for me. And peace, as demonstrated, defined, Janine, as presence and functioning.
Nice.
To keep my presence intact. And when I lose my presence, the first thing is to restore that before I do anything else, so that my functioning stays high, which makes me available to people in situations like this, in these intense situations, and life happening on life's terms. So it's not that these things quit happening. It's just you can have experiences like this. I can have experiences like this without them having me.
Right, about being taken down by them, so to speak. Yeah, and you know what I love is this idea that as you're able to be present because of this, the work, you were more supportive and, as you said, efficient, loving, caring, kind, and you were able to be of greater service. And I like the idea that of seeing your life and seeing all experiences as a blessing. That's so beautiful, Martha. That's fantastic.
And that is the mission, a very simple mission, which is to serve those who serve.
Oh.
And that is, it's whatever's in front of me. That's what I've been appointed to do. Life has put me where I am. Life has put me here with you today, provided this means for us to get this message out into the world, to offer another tool, to give another invitation for somebody to liberate themselves. And it is my greatest joy to be a part of making that a possibility for myself on a practiced daily basis, and for the world, to get these resources out into the world as well.
Awesome. And you know, I tell you, I have such a sense of peace just talking to you from this interview. And I can really feel that presence of peace around you. I'm wondering, are you going on the cruise with the affiliated New Thought Network?
I am. I must have been one of the first to register.
Newthought.org. Check it out. www.newthought.org. If you're interested in joining Martha Creek and myself, we are going to be cruising in consciousness. That's the theme of it. And actually, Martha, I am on the committee that's planning the cruise. And boy, do we have a fantastic program lined up. It's going to be from Thursday, April 16th through Monday the 20th. And on the 16th, we go out to sea. We have a little meeting. Friday, we have some workshops. Saturday, we're going to be in Cancun. People are going to be exploring. Sunday, we have the Emerson Theological Institute graduation. We have a service. We have just some socialization. We always have a raffle. We have some good fun. And then on Monday, we're back to port. So it's going to be awesome. I'm so pleased that you're going to be there. I look forward to seeing you in person and getting a big hug. I also would like people to look you up. You are a spiritual coach. People want to learn more about the work, or they just want spiritual coach and support. Please check out Martha Creek at www.marthacreek.com. So, Martha, is there a spiritual truth, idea, some kind of nugget that you'd like to close out the show with and leave people with, please?
Yes, a fair warning that I'm called a mentor and a tormentor. So if you call me, be prepared for either of those, and count on me loving you because I cannot help it. And the spiritual nugget that's been with me this week and today in preparation for the show, Janine, is this: it all begins here. So regardless of where we've come from, regardless of what it is, what we did do, what we didn't do, what we've read, what we've studied, what we think we know, in reality, it begins again here, right here. So I invite you to begin again, and invite me to begin again. And I love seeing you on the cruise. I get to present at the cruise. I'm blessed to be a presenter
That's
there.
right.
So blessed about that too. And
Yes.
Thank you for this time today. And God bless whoever's listening, that you realize that peace is always an option.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Martha Creek, for joining us on Spirituality Rocks. Alrighty, thank you. So, wow, what an exciting show, huh? Wasn't that fantastic? At the end of the show, we roll credits, or actually not credits. They are a list of New Thought centers and places that you can check out on the internet. Perhaps you want to go to a New Thought Spiritual Center somewhere in your community, or you'd like to learn more about New Thought, learn more about practical spirituality, so you can check out that list. Next week we have Will Mercer. He is a former president of the Divine Science Federation. He's actually going to be joining us in the studio because it comes from New York City with his new book about divine science, which is just fascinating. And following that, we're going to have Bonnie Barnard. She wrote the book Qualities of God. And if you want to be inspired, read Qualities of God. And also, if you're a New Thought teacher, read Qualities of God. You'll get lots of sermon material out of it, too. In the meantime, I want to do a shout out. I want to dedicate this show to Sean Kelly, one of my former students in New York City when I was working for Reverend Ike, and I was teaching at the United Palace. Sean made his transition this week. What an incredible, inspirational. That guy was a ball of positivity. His smile was infectious, and he really lived these principles we taught. He's gone way too soon at the age of 34, leaving behind a beautiful little baby girl, a wonderful wife, and a wonderful mother. So this show's dedicated to you, Sean. I bless you. I love you. And I know you're divinely guided on your covered path. And this is Janine Burns signing out. Looking forward to seeing you next week on Spirituality Rocks.